This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and I rambled and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice.
Hey, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video on full-time bicycle fenders. So as I dive into this, I want to say that fenders that we're talking about here are not the plastic ones that you can clip on that do not give a full coverage over the tire. The more coverage a fender can provide on a bicycle tire, the better. So let's mention also the weight of fenders. Some of you might think, oh, I don't want fenders because it's add useless weight, and I ride in a dry area where it very rarely rains, and that added weight is going to slow me down on in a fast-paced group ride, and I want to be able to beat my buddies up all the climbs. We're not here to decipher whether your group ride race day bike will benefit from fenders. What I'm talking about is your everyday ride, your training ride, the day you go to the grocery store, you ride to work, you go on a long tour, all the things that you can do on a bike that's not racing. Okay, so let's talk about the advantages of having fenders. The main advantage is that your drivetrain is better protected from the grime and dirt from the road that is kicked up from the tires when you're riding. The second benefit is that as you're riding, if you ride in a wet condition, water spray from the road will not find its way onto your saddle, onto your backside, and all over your legs and shoes. You will still have you will still get wet from the rain, but you will just be less of it will come from the tires spraying on you. The third benefit of fenders is that if you have racks or bags or equipment attached to your bike on a touring ride, for example, or going to the grocery store, the fenders will protect your equipment from the same thing, from the dirt and grime on the road getting kicked up onto your bags. The fourth benefit along the same lines with the bags is that if your bags are anywhere near the tire rotating, fenders will help keep the bag from rubbing against the tire as it's spinning. This is also a safety issue. If a buckle or a strap were loose, and there's a better chance with fenders that the fender would keep that buckle or strap away from the tire. If a buckle or a strap did find its way into your rotating wheel, it could break a spoke, and that could become pretty annoying, especially if you're out on a long road ride or a touring ride, for example. But I want to come back to the first point, which is about the general maintenance, protecting the chain from dust, even on a dry road. This is a general maintenance issue. Fenders help make all of your componentry last longer. If you're riding on a dry road and you're kicking up dust, that dust is going to go right onto your chain. Even if you're using a dry lube or whatever, the dust will still get into the chain, and that dust will wear down your cassette in the back. It's going to wear out the front chain rings. It's going to wear the chain out faster than if it had stayed cleaner longer. The other thing is, if you're out touring and you don't have fenders, you're going to be keeping that chain clean. You're going to be wiping that chain down probably every single day. With fenders, on the other hand, you can go several days without having to touch the chain if you're riding on roads. If you are on gravel, of course, the dust from gravel roads will still get into the chain, although less of it would get into the chain if you had full coverage fenders like these here. So those are some of the main key advantages. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, the disadvantage is the added weight. These are aluminum fenders that really don't add a whole lot of weight. And if weight's an issue, it's really only an issue on a racing bike. But for the majority of people riding touring bikes or just casually riding weekend rides or going out on a group ride with other um, friends or whatever, and it's not like in a competitive spirit, I would say you'd be just fine with fenders. Even in competitive kind of spirited riding, fenders probably wouldn't hold you back anyhow. They're really not that much. There's really not that much added weight. Um, but if you're riding in a group ride and it's a wet day, I think it's a courteous thing. It's since your bike's not going to be spraying them in the face with water doing that. And so those are just some of the benefits if you get the right bike, and you can get in exercise. You can exercise while you're doing the things you would have been doing already.
And I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was saying, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest